We are in the fight for our lives. When we think about voting rights, it's central to health. It's essential to education. It's essential to, having our children just be safe in their own neighborhoods. We've seen attack after attack, intention after intention to decrease voter participation. And so I'm going to say voting rights is a large umbrella term, but within voting rights, it's making it harder for people to register to vote. It's making harder for people to understand the vote by mail process. It's making it illegal for counties to implement drive-through voting, something we saw in 2020 in Harris County that 127,000 Harris County voters took advantage of before the state said you can't do that anymore.
We say things like, get involved with redistricting. Contact your legislator or show up to public hearings. That becomes this highbrow activity that doesn't seem possible or attainable because there's a knowledge gap on what that process, what that means. How do we partake in that process? And I think we really need to hone in and focus more on closing that knowledge gap.
So quite frankly, there are so many issues that Southerners are facing today because of racism and discrimination that we have to come together and we have to organize and we have to strategize and work in collaboration together so that we can address these multitude of pressing issues.
So being able to engage with folks who may have same comparative analysis, such as those within the Solve network, is pivotal within this movement of racial equity and social justice work.
And Solve uniquely is willing to provide resources to folks who are organized in less traditional ways. So some of them may not have 501c3 organizations. And the many grants that are made available by Solve, those groups are eligible for that funding.
There is success not only in monetary resources, but in actual intellectual property and knowledge and lived and learned experiences, and Solve provides all of that.
The institutions that we're all fighting against has been in existence for 400 plus years. So they are very hard to dismantle. And one organization or two organizations can't dismantle these 100-year-old institutions. So it's going to take all of us. And so being a part of Solve allows for the cross-fertilization of organizations, and it allows for the exchanges with peers.
In the same networks that we're building to mobilize people to vote, to track those that have registered to vote, those same networks can be used also to help care for our people if there are climate events, if there are violence related to politics that destabilize transportation routes and communities. Those same networks can be used to identify people and get folks to health care or to medical care, or get them out of the state if necessary. So, we look at this very soberly. We, of course, want the networks to be used to inspire people to democracy and to be more effective in that competitive political landscape. And also, if worse goes to worse, those same networks will keep more of our people alive.
Yeah, I think Solve as a coalition serves as a resource and organizing hub for organizations that are doing work across the southern states to come together to vent a little about some of the issues happening in our state, but then to also strategize, plan, and implement together, and most importantly, to dream about what is possible in the South if there's a coordinated effort to really champion progressive voting rights policies. And we know that's possible, but we also know it's going to take a lot of organizing work, and Solve is the coalition to make that happen.